you, hey you, hey you, come here. You watching this video? Guess what? Tag, you're it, lady, and I'm back with another video. Today's video is to introduce you to an original book tag. This book tag is called The First Book I Read. Book tag / challenge. I'll give you more information on that later. But the tag came about when I was thinking about all these books I've been reading lately and how much fun I thought it would be to go back and read the first book that got me into reading in the first place. The first question says, what is the first book you ever read? Not necessarily a child book or a book you read for school, but the first book you remember reading that really struck your interest for reading. For me, over here, that book is this. This book is Sister by Eric Jerome. Question number 2 asks, how old were you? I was 13 years old when I first read this book. Question number 3 asks, was this book a suggestion or just a random find? This book for me was a suggestion from my older cousin who just gave it to me and said, hey, read this. Next question asks, how did you feel after reading the book? I remember being excited. I remember thinking, oh, this is better than movies. And I really enjoyed it. I got into it, I remember, with those characters. The next question asks, have you read other books by this author? And for Eric Jerome Dickey, I believe this is his first, or one of his first, if not his first, novel. And he has went on to write so many books, and I have read at least 75% of all the books he's ever written. Next question says, how did it shape your reading preference? Well, for the longest, I only read only other African American authors. I only read books with maybe similar storylines, and I got into, books that had a lot of drama in it, like this one here. So that's for the longest, that's what I gravitated toward. This question says, have you read this book more than once? And that's where the challenge comes in. The challenge to you is, if you haven't read your very first book that got you into reading since that very first time reading it, I challenge you to go back and read that book and see, what are your thoughts all these years later. For me, it has been 20 years since I read this book, and I got it from the library. Last week I read it in one day. One day I read it, and I definitely don't remember reading it one day back when I was 13 years old. But I read it in one day. It's still a good book. I'm not sure if, the topics, the drama is, if I'm still so much into that. Most of the characters in the book now, I'm older than them, and I'm thinking, oh, I remember being that young and dumb when I was that age. So that's, what's the difference about it. But I still enjoyed it, and it was really good. So that's it for this book tag. The first book I read tag / challenge. You answer these few questions by going and finding the first book you enjoyed. The challenge is to reread it if you have not read it since the very first time you read it. And I want you to come back and remember your tag. So you do it. You have to come back and let me know when you do this tag. I hope you enjoy it. And by the way, if this is not an original tag, somebody let me know. Let me know so I can check out if somebody else has done a tag like this. Again, I hope you enjoy it. This is Lady. I look forward to your responses and your videos.